What is love? Love is at the very core of what it means to be a human being. So doesn't it make sense to have a definition of love? This YouTube video answers the question, what is the best definition of love? Hi, my name is Chip Awalt with Divine Answers, where we answer life's toughest questions, and in this video, we will tackle the question of love. If you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button below. This video gives an overview and a breakdown on the best definition of love. We do this to help guide you on your journey into learning what true love is. This is a real and complete definition of love. It is not multiple examples of what love is not, or some interesting insights on certain aspects of love, like communication or identifying a selfish attitude, which undercuts true love. These can be helpful, but we are after the best definition of love. So with that being said, here we go. Love is wanting, learning, and doing what is best for the other person at all times. One more time. Love is wanting, learning, and doing what is best for the other person at all times. This is the highest standard of human love, the lofty goal for which we strive. As you already know, learning how to love requires some effort on our part, and so does learning the ins and outs of this definition. You may have to spend some time thinking about what you have just heard, but the fruit this will bear will be worth it. So let's break it down. The first thing to understand about this definition is that each part builds on the previous part. Wanting is the foundation of the entire definition, because if you don't want what is best for the other person, where do you go from there? If you don't care about the other person or what happens to them, you can't love them. The next part of the definition is learning what is best for the other person. And the reason this is dependent on wanting is that wanting provides the necessary motivation to learn about the other person and what is best for them. You can even say wanting what is best for the other person is what drives you to learn what is best for them. This brings us to doing what is best. The only way you can do what is best for the other person is if you want to do what's best and have taken the time to learn to do what is best. On occasion, you may have to put in a great deal of time and effort in learning about the other person and what is best for them, which gets us back to the foundation of wanting what is best for the other person. Because when things get tough, you'll need the extra motivation to persevere. Up to this point, we've been focused on what is required of you for love. Now we switch gears and ask why we have to do this and for whom. The wanting, learning, and doing is for the sake and well-being of the other person. This is where things begin to get challenging, because love is others-centered, not self-centered or selfish. It's all about the other person. The question is not, what's in it for me? The question is, how can I do what is best for you? The final part of the definition answers the question of when. When does true love take a break? When does true love end? True love, real love, never takes a break and never ends. It must be practiced at all times. The next insight into this definition is this. After we have worked our way through wanting, learning, and doing, these parts of the definition become interdependent. After we have done what is best for the other person, we learn from the experience. What did our experience teach us about how to love this person better? Did what you do inspire you to want to do more for the other? In a sense, the actual doing becomes the foundation for taking, wanting, and learning to the next level. To test this definition, let's see what happens when we remove parts of it. Let's start with removing the other person. There are only two people involved in this, you and the other person. So if you are only doing what you think is best for you, then the other person becomes something to use for your own selfish wants and needs. This destroys love. Using the other person is another thing that is the opposite of love. What if we take out at all times? Again, what happens is that you only want, learn, and do what is best for the other person when it's convenient for you, or when you expect to get something out of it, or something in return. But it is so easy to go from an occasional act of true love to an act where you do it for yourself and what you'll get out of it. Now let's try removing the wanting part of the definition. If an individual says he wants what's best for the other person without really meaning it, his learning and doing is really a calculated attempt to do what is in his best interest by using the other person or group of persons as a tool to further his own agenda. How often have we heard this? I did this for you, when what was done actually hurt the other person. Or what if we take out the learning aspect? We truly want what is best for the other person, and based upon that, we want to take action. How can we be reasonably sure that the thing we do is the best thing? We can't. We can make assumptions about what is best, but the actions we take based on those assumptions can be incredibly harmful for those we wanted to help. Just a small example of this. What if we gave a new car to someone we want to help who can't afford to buy a car? On the surface, it seems like a wonderful, loving act, but we didn't take the time to learn that the person doesn't have a driver's license, or they can't afford the insurance, or gas, or maintenance, or maybe because they received that gift, it disqualifies them from receiving the ongoing financial help they need. Now, what if we take out the doing and leave the wanting and learning? You want what is best for the other person. You have taken the time to learn what is best for the other person, but then you do nothing. It is nothing but a useless idea in your head which helps no one. Or maybe you think that mentioning it to someone else, you hope that they will take the action. This brings us to the last bit I want to cover in breaking down this definition, by taking out a few more things and see what happens then. What if we say, love is wanting what is best for the other person at all times? The book of James in the Christian scriptures speaks to this very thing. Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food, and you say to them, go in peace, keep warm, well fed, but does nothing to meet their physical needs. What good is it? In the same way, if we exclude the learning and the doing, then love is no more than an idle wish. How about if we say love is doing what is best for the other person at all times? This definition actually works. If you're God, God is love and created us out of love. So it can definitely be said that he wants what is best for us. It can also be said that he doesn't need to learn what is best for us because he's the one who created us in the first place in every detail, and he already knows us perfectly. So God does what's best for us at all times. However, for us human beings, it doesn't work. Even Jesus, in his human nature, had to learn what is best and do what is best. In the story about Mary and Joseph losing track of Jesus and looking for him for 3 days, we see that the young Jesus had not yet learned or done what is best for his parents. He did not understand that staying behind in the temple would cause his father and mother great anxiety. This definition cannot apply to the human race as a whole. because we know that we fall short, well short, of wanting or knowing what is best for the other person. So for us, these elements have to be a part of the love definition. Hopefully, we have come to an understanding that we need to spend some time and energy learning what is best for the other person, and then take action to do what is best for the other person. You can apply this definition of love to virtually every situation and ask yourself questions like, do I know what love is? Up to this point, I have been focused on fulfilling my need to be loved and not doing what I need to give love. Or, how can I tell if someone really loves me or is using me? Use this definition to test yourself, to recognize how you fall short and can do better. But also realize you are worth the same level of effort. When you see your great worth, which ultimately comes from God, then you begin to grasp that you deserve to be loved in the same way as you love. If you put others to the test to see if they love you or can learn to love you, then you will avoid becoming a thing to be used and be a person who is loved. As I said in the beginning, this definition is the highest standard of human love. And for the overwhelming vast majority of us, it is impossible to attain this level of perfection. But at this point, I want to say, don't be afraid of what love demands. There are many who have overcome their fears and loved in amazing ways. The best example I can think of is St. Teresa of Calcutta, more well known as Mother Teresa. She dedicated her life to serving the poorest of the poor. She did want, learn, and do what was best for the other person at all times. But the only way she could do this was with a tremendous help from God. So knowing that loving is this difficult, should we shrink from the challenge to put forth our best effort? Absolutely not. Think of the great sacrifices that the people who are at the pinnacle of their chosen field have made. The great scientists, the great musicians, the great athletes, architects, chefs, whomever. Did they not go through with the effort because it was going to be too difficult? No. Even those who put in the effort to become the best and did not achieve that goal would say it was worth the effort because they are better human beings for it. It is the same with us, with one big exception. Each of us has the capacity for great love, even a perfect love. And we have a God who deeply desires to help us to learn to love perfectly. No matter where you are in your relationship with God, ask Him for His help to love better. You won't be disappointed. If this video has helped you, please hit the subscribe button below. And please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below as well. Thank you, and may God bless you. For my next video, we're going to take this definition and apply it to some of the more common situations that we face in everyday life. So, stay tuned.